Charlottesville. This is Lntv News, a live 30 minutes production of the television department of the Liberia Broadcasting System, and these are the top stories this morning we are following. Maigibi County District Number 1 Representative Thebarosa Tampoe challenges young people to denounce drug abuse and focus on their education. Liberia National Drug Enforcement Agency wants a stronger drug laws to help tackle abuse of drug across the country. First Lady Clara Weah pledges her unflinching commitment to support the vulnerable population in Liberia. And away from home, Algeria's ruling party, the FLN, backs to declare the country's ailing president unfit to rule. My name is Amanda Yasir Saleh. Let's take a short break. To be right back. Welcome back to the program. Deputy Finance Minister for Economic Management, Augustine Flomo, says more attention will be given to micro, small, medium enterprises because they are vital in building Liberia's economy. Minister Flomo spoke Wednesday in Monrovia at the end of a week-long SMSE's training workshop organized by the World Bank and the contract extension signing ceremony in Monrovia.
We from the government can make all the policies as much as we want to make. If you do not help us to achieve those policies around our economic development, then we will have a huge challenge. And so we would like to encourage you that the knowledge you've acquired for the last days while you've been interacting with the trainers, we would like to encourage you to use the knowledge acquired. And you know that your work in the market where we exist, I know a lot of you who are already professionals who've been there working very hard. You know that you're working in a very tough market. You're working in a challenged environment. And the challenges are there, but we cannot escape or run from those challenges. We have to face those challenges with innovations in terms of the products that we introduce and the way we engage the clients. So we would like to encourage you to be innovative and provide business support services in a way that provides opportunity for the businesses to kind of, see you as their best friends.
Also speaking at the program, Commerce Minister Wilson Tappet called on the participants to practice what they have learned.
This particular program is something that we will continue to support. And especially when two of the problems that we've seen have been taken care of. One, the time it takes to pay the loan, it can be too short. This one, I think it's to 3 years now. It's better so. And so? And the interest rate in after day is short. But the important thing, the reason why the World Bank, the government, they are doing all of this for you is to make it better so you can take care of yourselves. The money is not free money. Use it, pay it back. If you have a problem, you come back to the lending institution, meaning the club that gave you the money, come back to them. And when there is a problem, they'll be able to help you. For ourselves as a government, and we'll come to the World Bank and other development partners for this kind of support. There is a thinking that we are now trying to develop a service center, a national support service center, to help people of
Meanwhile, the president of LBDR, John Davis, encouraged the beneficiaries to pay back the loan in time to ensure others benefit from the initiative.
this extension that the World Bank and the government of Liberia has graciously agreed for us to sign on today. It's not for you to wait until year 5 before you start thinking about payment. Please, we beg you. That's not the intent of this extension. This extension is intended to ensure that you work with us so that as you are paying back, we give you the opportunity to take more and also give other businesses the opportunity to benefit. I'm sure you will agree with us, most respectfully, that you are not the only SMEs in the Republic of Liberia. There are many businesses also who are desirous and equally expecting to benefit from this arrangement. We beg you, we like for you to work with us to achieve that, because as you become successful in working with us, in working with the other non-bank financial institutions, and we are able to replicate the success story, more opportunities will come for you to benefit, and you will graduate to even greater and bigger buckets in terms of access to finance.
He's the president of the Liberia Bank for Development and Investment, John Davis. Earlier, you heard Professor Wilson Tape, and that's Deputy Finance Minister for Economic Management, Augustine Flomo, speaking at the SMSE's training workshop on yesterday. The Chief of Prevention at the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, LDEA, Robert Akwe, says the current drug law of the country has rendered the agency in the eyes of the public as weak. Mr. Akwe observed that though the LDEA has the capacity to fight drug abuse in Liberia, the current drug laws on the book are extremely weak. He noted that illicit drugs have seriously taken over the country, rendering the young people vulnerable in the society. The LDA Chief Prevention made the observations Wednesday when he served as a guest speaker at the launch of the Student Anti-Drug Campaign in Monrovia. Mr. Akwe described illicit drugs as the drivers of armed robbery and stressed the need to urgently strengthen Liberia's drug laws.
And we have been working along with the national legislature to see how best we can do to improve the drug law. We believe when it helps us to improve the drug law, that will because somebody will drug, will sentence you for 10 to 15 years. When people see those examples, they will not be able to do it again. Well, you catch somebody today, next week you see them outside. And sometimes somebody can go, well, 2 years ago they were arrested. He said, 2 years ago they were arrested, but you also see me back here, and indeed you see them back. And you know what? All our lawyers are on the law students. Everyone is defending law students. As soon as we are investigating them to the DA office, their lawyers are already going to do and as soon as we get there, their lawyers will be able to show insurance form. And I believe they are also working in the house.
Robert Akwe is the Chief of Prevention at the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency, discouraging students not to get involved into drug addiction. Maghibie County District No. 1 Representative Tiberosa Tampoe is calling on the youth, especially students of the district, to denounce drug abuse and focus on their education. Representative Tampoe noted that the young people, most of whom are students, have fallen prey to the consumption of illicit drugs. He wants students and other youth of the district to take control of their future by putting education over narcotic drug. Maghibie County District No. 1 representative spoke Wednesday when he officially launched a student anti-drug campaign in Shuffling Town in Maghibie County.
We sit and occupy a unique position in our government. Your future should be our business. Your development should be our business. What do I mean by that? If you're a representative, you want to make sure that you work with institutions and empower the institutions to make the right decisions to develop you. Look, the future for some of us, we are in our future today. Liberia cannot move forward with you. Today you might be in uniforms, grade school, and most of us were there yesterday. If you are not disturbed and distracted from being what you're supposed to be and say, oh, I want to be cool. I want this thing that can make me to feel good for now. When you are feeling good now, what happens in the long term? You want positive results. You want your parents to be proud of you. You want your community to be proud of you. You want your church to be proud of you. The stigma that it will take for you to be associated with doing drugs is not good. In all our communities today, this is the #1 issue. That's why I say I'm thankful to the Office of the County Commissioner for instituting this measure, this awareness program, for you to understand that we are with you.
Also speaking at the launch, the Executive Director of AFALIT International, Reverend Emmanuel Giddens, urged national leaders to take more practical actions to reduce the impact of illicit drug on Liberia's youthful population.
Our national leaders have to take a personal intervention approach to dealing with the drug problem rather than the raiding. If you raid a community of illicit drug users, you just building another one, because they're going to scatter and tomorrow they will find themselves in different communities. So we need to take interest in the people that are using the substance. They are human beings like us. We need to understand what is causing them to do this. And once we understand what's causing them to do this, by taking a personal approach and offering alternatives, like I said, programs, like for example, I've engaged the Bakaya boys in my community, and I'm offering them the opportunity to do gardening. So we created a budget that close to some $5,000. I will fund that personally. But a boy who are using drugs before can come to your house, an Lntv journalist, instead of bringing you a package of drugs, they brought a tray of fruits, and they say, you're selling drugs. Instead of selling drugs, I want to sell fruits. Will you not support them? Of course.
The Executive Director of AFALIT International, that's Reverend Emmanuel Giddens, and earlier you heard Maghebe County District #1 Representative Tabarosa Tampaware. Over 180 women will Thursday, that's today, graduate from an 11-month intensive skills training program organized by the Liberia National Red Cross Society. The project, under the caption Women Training and Integration Program, WIN for short, is empowering most vulnerable women in densely populated communities in Montserrat County to ensure they realize their full potential in society. Bolu Sako is the Psychosocial Support Officer at the Red Cross.
Red Cross is open to work with any partner, and that is one major challenge that we have right now. When we are doing recruitment, we recruit 200 women per cycle, and we have over 300-400 women coming to express interest. So you can see the margin, the difference. So we are open to the public for support, for us to be able to continue the support to these women. And it can also help us to be able to decentralize. We cannot decentralize with our money. So we are calling on the general public to come in with their support. We are having our graduation tomorrow. Tomorrow is the 8th cycle graduation at the Pinsfield Town Hall at 11 o'clock. We are inviting the general public. You know, sometimes it is when the graduation are women who are sitting and doing nothing, and they don't see any meaning to life. It's from there they can get encouraged to come to the project. So we are encouraging.
Meanwhile, 2 of the many beneficiaries commended the Red Cross for ensuring that they are now marketing acceptable in society, unlike the past. Mariama Wia and Jene Mandolo said through acquiring new skills as a result of the project, they are sustaining their families.
I want to encourage some of them because some of them graduated from high school, they went to college, but still going to school doing nothing. Some of them graduated and then they say they're waiting for a job. So my advice I get to give to them is to find trade school to go to and learn something. They must learn how to do something with their hands. God gave us the 2 hands to do something positive with it. At least let them be able to learn skills that tomorrow they'll be able to help their husband in their home, to be able to help their family to earn money for themselves also. So my message to them is not to be discouraged, but I'm encouraging them to be able to do something positive for themselves, to go to trade school and be able to learn skills.
I can able to do something, I can sew, I sell it, I can sew, I carry in the community, I sell it, I get money. So you can even be more than me. Don't say to say, oh, I will be selling now when men bring it, I will not get it. No. Get up and stand and fight for yourself. So you can be able to stand on your own. What when the men bring $5, you say you'll be able to bring $5. Because this day, for one hand, it's not easy.
There are 2 beneficiaries of the Red Cross vocational program. That's Jene Mandolo and Mariama Wia. Earlier, you heard Bolu Sako, the Psychosocial Support Officer at the Red Cross. Well, in case you're just joining us, this is a reminder that you are watching Lntv News Live, 30 minutes production of the television department here at the Liberia Broadcasting System. My name is Amanda Yasia Saleh, anchoring this morning edition of the program, and these are the top stories we are following. Margibi County District #1 Representative Tabarosa Tampoe challenges young people to denounce drug abuse and focus on their education. Liberia National Drug Enforcement Agency wants a stronger drug laws to help tackle the abuse of drug across the country. First Lady Clara Weah pledges her unflinching commitment to support the vulnerable population in Liberia. And away from home, Algeria's ruling party, the FLN, backs to declare the country's ailing president unfit to rule. Let's take a short break to be right back. Welcome back to the program. Members of the Liberia National Bar Association will Thursday gather in Kakata, Margibi County for its annual meeting. The legal meeting will focus on several key topics, including putting closure to the 14 years of conflict, accountability, or impunity. Speaking to Lntv News ahead of the meeting was the president of the Bar Association, Councillor Tiawan Gonglo.
There are 2 arguments that are being Liberia. Some say there should be accountability. We should hold accountable those who commit atrocities during the war. But it's being vaguely stated whether it's accountability for those who bear the highest responsibility, the commander, the organizers, or those who actually kill people in the field. We haven't discussed that. Some say let's just let bygones be bygones. And I call it collective amnesia, where we all agree to forget. But it is not scientific, it's not normal. You know, you and I can never agree to forget. I may forget something that you will remember. For example, we haven't met for a long time. Perhaps when I got there, probably forgot that you suffered, George. It can happen. It happens. Forgetfulness is a natural development. People don't plan to forget. People don't vote to forget. So it really sounds illogical. But people feel that that is the way to go. Some say if you get to accountability, asking the questions that you should be asked to find out who is accountable, you might undermine the peace. Because you'll be opening the wounds.
The old wounds.
But again, that is just a debate. Those are how people, that's how different people are thinking about the issues. So we are going to discuss this. We're going to...
The lawyers?
Yes, the lawyers are going to discuss this over the weekend, over the weekend beginning Friday.
Councillor Gonglo has also lauded the CDC-led government for the progress so far.
It is a law that was easily abused by repressive regimes. So Liberia has made progress. And of course, this government can take credit for it because it happened under this government. Nobody will write history and not say it didn't happen because
at least you took my word now. You accepted what I said.
If you want to win an award for that is level. But I'm just saying that when good things happen, it's good to say, just as when bad things happen, we say this was really a good thing. It's a big positive development historically. I told you when the law came since 1914, and now it has just been changed. It means that we are really on the path to building a democratic society, a culture of peace, because government now can allow people to speak freely. You feel somebody says something bad for you, go to court and file a civil action. Even that, I am promoting the idea that there had to be some kind of limitation on the civil damages that people claim for small things that have been said about someone. But some people in government, they come and sue $2.5 million when even they themselves don't have.
Councillor Tiawon Gonglo is the president of the Liberia Bar Association. The Elections Coordinating Committee has gathered stakeholders to a national conference to strengthen Liberia's democracy through electoral reforms. Speaking in an interview with the station, Mr. Oscar Blow said many Liberians want the amendment of Article 83A and C of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia.
This is a national electoral reform conference that culminates from a series of activities carried out by the ECC, including free research to speak to ordinary citizens in 6 counties on how the 2017 elections went, their views on the process, their views on the administration of the elections, and what they think need to be reformed so that our electoral process can be improved. That was followed by organizing 4 different policy dialogues around legal reform, political party function, election management, and citizen participation. So all of those activities fed into today's conference that will set the roadmap for how civil society will engage in the electoral reform process.
Okay, so in a nutshell.
At the same time, Mr. Blow called on political parties to prioritize women on the ballot boxes to encourage more females into political activities.
That we want amended. We cite the current law. Say for instance, section 4.51C speaks about the gender inclusion of the listing of political parties in terms of the candidate submission to the NEC. The current law says the parties shall endeavor to ensure that 30% of the list is gender sensitive. We are saying that the current law in the new election law is not mandatory because the language in there is weak, so it does not give any mandatory enforcement on the part of the political parties. So we are recommending, so in a new version, we'll say the ECC amends section 4.51C to read as follows. And then we say this is how the language should be phrased, to say that all the parties shall submit the candidate listing that will be reflective of 10% of gender. Failure to do this, the NEC has the legal authority to not register any political party. So that's the language we want to see.
Meanwhile, NEMO's Executive Director Eddie Jawolo stressed the need for electoral laws to be strictly shared, especially during election processes.
Thinking about how do we develop the way forward, not just talking anymore. How do we take action? So today is more.
But some of the actions also, you want the amendment of this electricity, where the LEC should not be.
What we're doing with the conference now, we get people from all over that are going to make recommendations. So how do we engage the legislature? Because like we know, only the legislature can be able to do this reform. Either through the electoral law, the code of conduct, or the constitution. We just push it, but they have to do it. So they are made on it. And the citizens are speaking about strategies in terms of how to engage. So this is something that we think will have to strengthen our democracy. The election has to do with trust. When citizens don't trust the system, it will be very difficult. So we want to build citizen trust, we want to make sure that the reform process is very inclusive, the issue about gender participation, the issue about political party compliance. The law says political party compliance, we find it difficult. The law talking about publication of that source of revenue from their budget. It's difficult. So how do we make sure that this law, and not just law in the book, but they are law that is really enforceable and can be monitored from civil society? We're the biggest election observation group in Liberia.
NEMO's Executive Director Eddie Ijawolo, and earlier you heard the Elections Coordinating Committee Chair Oscar Blow. The First Lady of Liberia, Clara Weir, says she remains committed and dedicated to work along with the School of the Blind for the success of its technical and vocational program. Serving as proxy at the official launch of the technical and vocational program in Virginia, her administrative assistant, James Kotu, said they are overwhelmed based on the trend authorities of the school have taken to invest in technical and vocational education.
The accomplishment as an institution in molding minds and transforming Liberians through such difficulties are resounding and world national recognition. Your respected commitment as students, faculties, staff, guardians, and administrators is laudable, and we can only encourage you to remain focused and resilient. We acknowledge and thank the founding fathers and all who have worked tirelessly toward the survivability of this great institution. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, one really and even intriguing phenomenon of this year anniversary celebration is the launching of the Technical and Vocational Education and Training (TVET) component of your educational activities.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Chief of Mission at the United States Embassy, Arsene Grunder, said the U.S. government will not discriminate against persons with disabilities.
The U.S. government, through USAID, supports and commends the efforts of the Government of Liberia and the Ministry of Education in its commitment to expand educational opportunities for children with disabilities. The U.S. government remains committed to engaging all segments of society, including persons with disabilities, in development assistance. We will not discriminate against persons with disabilities, and USAID will work to ensure the inclusion and the active participation of persons with disabilities in its funded programs and activities.
For his part, Deputy Information Minister for Culture and Tourism, Lance Bagoyan, is appealing to authorities at the Finance and Education Ministries to establish special education endowment fund for persons with disabilities.
One, there is a need to establish a consolidated national vocational rehabilitation fund. What I think that we also has been disjointed. The School of the Blind, they have some empowerment form. The Disabled Commission have their own empowerment form. Then the group of 77 also have their own one. empowerment or endowment fund, we should have a consolidated, social or vocational rehabilitation fund that will be used by all official academy.
And away from home now, Algeria's ruling party, the FLN, has backed calls to declare the ailing President Abdelaziz Bouteflika unfit to rule. The FLN's intervention, which is expected to be decisive, comes a day after the head of the army, Lieutenant General Ahmed Gate Salah, said a constitutional rule should be invoked to remove the president from office. Protests against Mr. Bouteflika began last month after he said he planned to stand for another term. Under pressure, Mr. Bouteflika then agreed to stand down after constitutional reforms had been passed, but people continue to protest, saying the move was a ploy by the president to stay in office. Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Amanda Yasia Saleh. Hope you stay with us. Thank you so much.
The Liberia Institute of Public Administration is the premier center of excellence in capacity building and development for